Hey, everybody, your designers are here.
I'm Anita at Cedar Hill Farmhouse.
And I'm Yvonne at Stone Gable.
And I'm Kelly at My Sofa Home. And we have tips and tricks and decorating advice for you today. So let's get started.
Today is episode 234, The Magic of Mirrors and Decorating.
We want to tell you we're welcoming somebody, a brand new little person to the Decorating Tips and Tricks family.
Yes, thank you so much. I am a new Gigi 3 times now. Yes, I know I'm way too young, but okay, that's fine. But besides the point, we just want to welcome little Alexander Gregory into the world. And he came into the world on July the 22nd. And I mean, he came flying into the world really quick. And his big brother Anderson absolutely loves him, and so
and how old is Anderson right now?
21 months.
We
were a little concerned about that, about how he, because he was the first grandchild and sort of runs the show, but he just can't stop kissing him and loving on him and wanting to hold him. And he just keeps saying, my baby brother. So he gets the idea. So we couldn't be more thrilled. And he looks exactly like my daughter did when she was born. It's like having a do-over.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And what a lucky little man he is.
I told him that. I said, you have been born into a really fabulous family.
If
I do say so
like
myself.
You, baby. So, yeah. That's so awesome.
Well, thank you. Thank you for letting me brag a little bit.
So as Alexander is a mirror of his mom, Jackie, we're going to segue into the magic of mirrors in your decorating.
You're a segue savant.
Isn't she the best?
A smooth operator.
Yeah.
Are you suggesting she's not good at other things? That's what I think.
No, but she is a savant when it comes to segues. That's for sure. Yes, today, so we're going to talk about mirrors and how, give you a little bit of background about mirrors, and we're going to talk about frames of mirrors and where to put mirrors and do's and don'ts and some really great tips today. But I know that, Kelly, our researcher, has done a little bit of research about mirrors. So let's just talk to her about that for a minute.
Yeah. I mean,
okay, Kelly.
You walk past mirrors every day in
mirrors.
Your own home and other places. So how do they really work? It seems pretty simple, right? But I was just really interested when we started doing the magic of mirrors. I was like, well, really, what makes a mirror work and how can you see yourself and all of that? So it's pretty simple, and it's probably something you could imagine anyway. But hey, for the sake of completeness, I thought we'd go through it. So a mirror is made up of a thin layer of a metal backing, which is normally aluminum. So you've got the glass in front, the thin layer of metal backing, which normally is aluminum. That's really the key element, and then layers of paint in the back. So if you've ever look at the back of a mirror, or particularly a vintage mirror, you might see the layers of paint. You might see some of them chipping off and things like that.
And it's called silvering.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right.
Okay. Or were you going to say that? Did I mess you up?
No, that's absolutely fine. Okay. So the glass is less important than the metal, and really the glass and also the paint backing are really there to protect the metal. So the way it works is you stand in front of it and you say, mirror, mirror on the wall. But the light passes through the glass and is reflected by the metal, right? And because it's a completely flat surface at a microscopic level, microscopically smooth, it reflects every color in the visible spectrum. It doesn't absorb any colors. So that's why you get back exactly what's going on, So because there are other surfaces that might absorb certain colors. Like if you look at a banana, it's absorbing the yellow. So you see it yellow and you don't see that. But the smoothness, the super, super smoothness of the metal sandwiched between the glass and the paint is what's able to reflect back every color in the visible spectrum. So there's no diffusion. So there was an analogy in something that I read, like if you threw a bunch of tennis balls at a completely smooth, object straight at them, at all the same angle, they would all come back exactly the same. But if you threw a bunch of tennis balls at a craggly surface, they would deflect all over the place. So it would
Right.
diffuse it. So the mirror is like throwing all those balls at the same angle at a completely flat surface. It all comes back the same. So that's how it works.
And so really you can make a mirror, and it's not that terribly hard. I know I've seen it. I've seen videos of it done, and I know that I am now what is called a maker boss from at the Amy Howard's studio. And she has some wonderful products for making mirrors and changing the effect of mirrors, antiquing mirrors. So email me if you're interested in that. But it is not that hard of a process, actually.
Yeah. So there's 3 basic elements, and you can do that. And you can definitely transform new mirrors into looking like antique mirrors. And that's a really, really interesting way to go. And if you're peeling off some of the back, or you're messing with the metal, it's going to produce different effects, right? So it'll have that mottled look. So, I think all types of mirrors, pristine ones that you're really wanting to use to get your own reflection back, so you know how fabulous you're looking when you're going out to start your day, or ones that you don't mind if it's a mottled or more of a vintage look because you're doing it more displaying it more for a decorative purpose. I think all of that will work in your house. And I know you guys have heard this before from me, but I really think there should be a mirror in every single room, if not more than one. They do so much for every room, and they do so much for your decor overall, that if you don't have a mirror in every room, you might want to start thinking about where you can add them, even in small ways. Certainly the bigger mirror you put, the more of an impact it's going to have. But even a small little mirror positioned in the right spot, like we had a listener way back when we did our backsplash episode, and then she had emailed us afterwards saying that, because I talked about having mirrors in my kitchen, that she added a mirror to her backsplash area because she didn't really like her backsplash area, and she did like a pretty vignette in front of it, and that she couldn't believe that impact that it had.
Well, it's interesting you say
space.
that, because I think that's a great way to disguise. If you have a really just very boring view from a window, for example, our city house, we've got another house. I mean, it feels like it's 2 feet away from our house on the side. I think it's a little further, but it feels like it's right there. So there's really no view. So that's something you can do, is actually put a mirror, and I've seen it done in front of a window that kind of reflects some light and kind of takes away. I mean, if you've got a gorgeous view, of course, don't do that. But, you know, if you have a view that's kind of, I mean, that's something to kind of, then your eye's going to go to what's in the mirror rather than maybe what's around it with the kind of boring view.
That's a very good idea.
Yeah.
Hey, can I just throw this out, which I think is so fun? It's like a little, see if you know the answer to this. What is the most common place to put a mirror?
Over the bathroom sink.
Over the fireplace?
We did not rehearse this. You are so right,
Well, that's
Kelly.
right, because everyone's got
I think
one
I
over the
deserve
bathroom
the
sink.
ding-ding. Where's the bell? we haven't heard the bell in a long time.
No, we decided not to do
bell's
that
retired.
anymore. So.
Oh,
Too much
Yeah, I know. I
like
hate
the
that.
Liberty Bell. It's cracked. It's on display somewhere.
So sad. But anyway, we're getting a little
it just
too
became
competitive.
too competitive.
Yes,
I know. It was too
It's
contentious.
exhausting.
So how about this idea too? If you've got a large mirror on a wall, to break it up, especially if it's on top of a buffet or on top of a shelf, you can layer that with empty frames. I've done that a lot. I've layered it with other mirrors and with empty old antique
so
frames.
you mean a mirror and empty frames together?
Well, the empty frame goes on top of the mirror. So you're still, so it's almost like layering a mirror on top of the mirror.
You're good at this decorating thing.
I love the
It's not your first rodeo.
No.
Texas
but
girl.
I mean, if you've got the old gorgeous frames, I mean, that's a great way to do it.
That's really interesting. Yes, I love that. Okay, so why would you put a mirror in a room? It's going to open up your space. It's going to bounce the light around beautifully. It's going to reflect either the outside Or, as Anita pointed out, you could do something where you're sort of blocking the outside a little bit with the mirror and reflecting what's going on inside. And another way to think about it is positioning them in such a way that you're reflecting arrangements that you have in your room. So they've kind of used as a backdrop for vignettes or things like that, whether it be on a large scale and it's leaning on the, standing on the floor and leaning on the wall, or if it's on a shelf or on a table, you can have a mirror behind your decorative pieces, and it's going to reflect them, not just only make them double, but it's going to show you angles of them you wouldn't normally see. Don't you just love a great recommendation from a friend? Well, we're delighted to be recommending these companies and their wonderful products to you today. And let them know your friends at DTT sent you. Go ahead, clean out your closet, then head straight to Quince. I love every item Quince offers, from wardrobe to decor, and I can really recommend their Ultra Stretch Super Wide Leg Pant at $49.90. The price is unbeatable, and the look is so flattering. It keeps you in on top and flares out of the bottom. Everything feels right with Quince. The price, the quality, and the sustainability. Quince offers a range of luxury wardrobe and home goods at prices within reach. And like Quince's clothing, their home goods are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. Once you've cleaned out your closet and refreshed with Quince, you can also add something to your home decor. So give your wardrobe and your home the refresh it needs with Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. And let me know how you love those pants. Green Chef is a delicious delight any time of year, but especially during the holidays. What a wonderful vision to behold at the Green Chef boxes on your doorstep. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well. And it makes eating well so easy with plans to fit every lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat a more balanced diet. So let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season. And if you've got guests coming, shop Green Bundles. They're now available at the Green Market. It's your one-stop shop for nutritious grab-and-go breakfasts, including vegan options, brunch kits, wholesome lunches, ready-to-eat snacks, veggie sides, and more. You can feel your best this December and do your best with Green Chef because they offset 100% of the delivery emissions as well as 100% of the plastic in every box. Go to greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT and get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT to get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months.
Yeah. And, I want to mention too, there's 2 things that will really make your mirrors stand out and make them a wow part of your room. And one is if you go with a rather large mirror. Then it becomes almost, it becomes a signature piece in the room. So that's one approach, is to go with a really large mirror. And there's so many beautiful large mirrors. The other thing is to go with a very decorative, very unique mirror. And you can use antique mirrors to get that kind of feel. And there's 2 particular styles. I have 2 favorite mirror styles. Of course, they're both.
Do tell.
Well, one is the Louis Phillipe, which is square on the bottom and it has the rounded tops. And I have actually some Louis Philippes that are original to France. They're original Louis Philippe mirrors from that time period, which I'm trying to think, 1840 or something. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it's something like that. But there's a lot of reproduction mirrors that are just as beautiful. The other style is the Oeil de Boeuf. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Could you just say that again? I love that.
Oeil de Boeuf. I know I'm mispronouncing it, but that's what it is. It means bullseye. And It's not the same as an English bullseye. An English bullseye mirror is a convex mirror. And you know what I'm talking about. They're round, they're convex. So, everything's distorted in the mirror. But the French.
Now, can I stop you for a sec? Is the convex the one that's caves in or the one that poofs out?
I think it poofs out. I don't know of any that cave in. Is there a cave in one?
I thought there was convex
and concave. Yeah, she's just talking about the names.
Okay.
Right. So the French one, which is pronounced, with the French pronunciation, is actually, it's almost shaped like a bull's eyebrow on the top, and it's kind of squared on the bottom. And this was actually a style of window that was done in a lot of French homes, or French buildings, I should say, 1800s, perhaps even earlier. And it's often done with a zinc frame. And sometimes they've done a reproduction look with wooden frames as well. But they're very stylish, and they're beautiful. You can look them up. You can Google that on the internet. But they're
Anita, I know exactly what you're talking about. I did not know the name, and you can find them. There's a lot of them out in wherever you want to go shopping, because that's still a very popular.
It's gorgeous, but it's a very unique, very stylized, very beautiful look. So, I'm wanting you to think outside the box and not think just square mirrors, because there's so many beautiful mirrors, so many unique pieces that I don't want you to overlook.
Oh, yeah. There's so many beautiful styles of mirrors. And yeah, I mean, sure, you can go to your regular off-price store or order online and just get a rectangular or square, but there's so many different designs out there.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about just put a little structure about what the different sizes and what the mirror, what the frame does, because I think the frame is as important as the mirror. When you think of a mirror, most people think of rectangular, but there are so many different types. There's as many types as you can think of, actually. We have a lot of round mirrors in our house because we have a lot of arched windows, and I just love how the round mirror plays with the arch in the window. And also, we just don't just get a small, thin frame. Think about how that's on a wall, or propped up against a wall. That frame is going to add texture and heft and a design element to your room. And let's say you have a huge, big, heavy gilded mirror in a very minimalized room. Can you imagine what that beautiful gilding is going to do? That juxtaposition is going to look gorgeous in a room like that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Let's look for these unique pieces, these unique mirrors. If you want a plain one, that's fine. But if you want to really add some design, kind of just some elegance to your room, there's so many ways to do it. Grab one of these mirrors with a beautiful, heavy, ornate frame, and it'll be gorgeous.
And another way to do it, sort of opposite that, is go to do a little vintage shopping. Go to your antique shops and your vintage shops. And even like around here, we can just go to a garage sale, and people have these gorgeous frames that, just need a little bit of love, can be repainted or can be regilded. And it's not a hard job, and it's actually quite fun to work with your house, and then go to a reputable glass place and have a mirror put in it.
Yeah.
And you have something that's one of a kind.
Well, and I'm thinking in our mountain house, I'm not calling it retirement house anymore, Kelly.
Thank God.
Good. It's
because
a good
she told
day.
me we're going to have to wait for that to happen. I mean,
yeah, she knows I'm not retiring.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
thinking
like such a joke.
The front of the house, it's, the views out that way are not as exciting as out the back, which is the view down the valley and into the, of the mountains. So I'm thinking, I'm just thinking while I was working on this episode, what about putting a huge mirror on the front of the house so that it reflects the view
yes,
of
yes.
the mountains in the back?
And
so
Anita, I wanted to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly right. The placement of a mirror is very important, because not only does it reflect light and brings light in, it's a wonderful architectural element and an element that brings texture to your room, but it also can reflect something beautiful through a window.
Yeah, your
And you
mountain view, your garden.
Yeah, a garden, exactly. So, I would say be very careful where you place a mirror because you don't want it reflecting like a door or like we put it above our mantle and it just reflected the ceiling. So that did nothing. So we took that down and actually put it in our dining room over our buffet, and it reflected the whole length of my foyer, my living room, and out the French doors in our living room.
Oh, right. So expanding the space and also giving you something beautiful to look at twice over.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. And that's a beautiful way to go. So Anita, you are so smart to put a mirror.
Oh, that's a
so
good
it reflects
idea.
your beautiful scenery.
Oh, well, and here's another idea that I've learned. I think this is very in style now to take a big, beautiful mirror and lean it against the wall. If you have small kids or anyone that might knock it over, of course, you do want to secure it some way to the wall so that it's not going to be knocked over and break. That would be really bad. But the thing with the leaner is if it's leaning at the top, so the top is further away from you than the bottom, it's going to make you look thinner. It's kind of like a funhouse mirror.
Oh.
So, see, I have actually an armoire in my bathroom that actually tilts the other way. And I can't even look at myself in that mirror. It's so bad. But Evie has one in her room that's a leaner. And that's where I'm like, I just don't even look. I go in her room to look at myself because I'm like, I look thin.
I love the look of a leaning mirror too. It has this also very casual, elegant look.
Yes.
So as Anita's saying, you definitely don't want to come home or have shipped to you, a 200-pound mirror and then have your puppy or your toddler or anybody, bang into it and have a problem. So think about how you're going to secure that. It's still going to have 9 times out of 10 have some sort of mechanism in the back, or you need to devise something. And you could just use simply as a really great nail in the wall or a screw into the wall, and then attach it with some heavy duty picture wire and just make sure it's looped around enough so where if you give a good tug, it's not going to go. There's also something called a French cleat, which is a nice way to hang something like that on the wall.
Oh, I love those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sometimes it's used for even cabinetry. And so it's a horizontal piece of wood, rather thin, could be maybe 2 inches, something like that, secured to the wall. And it can be as wide as your mirror. And then it has about a 30 or so degree angle on it. So just picture it kind of like the mirror would then like sort of hook right into it, depending on what's on the back of it.
You can get them at Home Depot or Lowe's, and they're metal now.
Yeah.
They also do have attachments, wire attachments that you can take, that you can use from a piece of furniture or something like that to right into the studs of the wall as well, just to keep it secure. But you're right. Do definitely secure a leaner to the wall. We don't want any accidents to happen.
And I've seen some beautiful ones that have maybe 6 panels. They have the metal kind of the iron dividers in there that are beautiful, kind of a more modern view, more modern take on a mirror that are gorgeous.
I love those. Mm-hmm.
Well, the mirror that I have so many mirrors and old ones, but one that I years ago at Ballard Designs, and it's still in their catalog. And it's the one that's in 3 pieces, and it has the metal separations, like you're saying.
Yes.
And it has the arch at the top. And then it has the 2 pieces. Have you guys seen that one?
I've recommended that for design clients. I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause you can buy it at whatever piece you want.
Yep.
So I had all 3 pieces all together. So the 2 long ones side by side, and then the arch on the top in my old house, which was really beautiful and opened it up the living room in such a special way. And then here, I really wanted to use it again. So in the barn, in the entry, the arch just wouldn't have worked. It was going to be too busy. So I only used the 2, and the way the wall was situated with the studs that are in it, they couldn't be exactly next to each other, but still looks great. So they're maybe 6 inches apart. Then I took the top
almost looks like a window, doesn't it?
Yes, exactly.
It does.
And so it's right in the, there's the sliding French doors in the barn. And so it's right in there in the entryway. So from my kitchen, I can see across the yard through the glass doors, and then I can see the the mirrors, and at night when we have the cafe lights on, it reflects it all. I mean, it's just so
how pretty.
And when you're inside the barn, it's reflecting what's going on in the yard and the garden. And then that other arched piece I took and I put up in the attic office above the window here to extend that feeling.
So it looks like an arched window.
Yes.
Oh, that sounds beautiful.
It worked out great. So I can't remember the name of that one, but I can put that in there. And
definitely, we have that. I have the same one. I have the one panel, like the one window pane panel.
Seriously, that must be one of their best sellers because it has been in the catalog.
I think it is.
For like 15 years.
But I turned it on. I turned it so it was long horizontally and put it over my buffet.
Oh, good.
It is such a perfect all-purpose mirror because although it just has a thin oil-rubbed bronze or a dark black metal frame, it's broken up. All the grids are black. So it's very dramatic looking.
Yeah. It's
well,
really
and I think that's great for a room that does not have windows. So this is going to reflect the light and give kind of an illusion of windows. It's going to make it have more of an open feel. So I love those.
Or could you imagine that at the end of a long hallway?
Pesto pork chops over Parmesan polenta. Not that easy to say, but oh, so easy to make with Green Chef. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit company for eating well, and we have such a great deal for you. You're going to save $250. Listen on for the details on that. Green Chef makes eating well easy for any lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat more balanced meals. You know, we're getting into the busy holiday season, so it's a perfect time to have Green Chef help you out. Let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season with their chef-crafted, nutritionist-approved recipes featuring fresh ingredients and nothing artificial. And you know what? You don't have to lose track of your healthy eating habits during the holidays. Every Green Chef customer gets a free session with their registered dietitians who will walk you through how to make clean eating work for you. So sign up for your free session and start on the road towards better health today. And that deal I want to tell you about, visit greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. So that's greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. BritBox just keeps getting better. The new Archie is amazing. And it's not the comics. It's about Cary Grant. Archie is the brand new limited series starring Jason Isaacs as Archie Leach, the man who became Cary Grant. From the award-winning screenwriter of Philomena, Archie tells Grant's born in Britain, made in Hollywood story, the dramatic grit to glamour transformation that led him to become one of the most famous people in the world. You are going to absolutely love the acting, but also the styling, the outfits, the scenery. It's the first time his story has been told in collaboration with his daughter Jennifer Grant and ex-wife Diane Cannon. The performances from Jason Isaacs and the rest of the cast are amazing, and it's only available on BritBox. So sign up for BritBox today to stream Archie and other fan favorites from any device. And we have a special limited time offer for our U.S. and Canadian listeners. Get 50% off, yes, that's 50% off your first month when you sign up for a monthly plan. But only if you go to BritBox.com and use our promotion code DTT at checkout. You're going to love Archie. So head over right now and get 50% off your first month of BritBox. Use the promotion code DTT at BritBox.com.
I think that would be beautiful there. Or if you have a landing on your stairs that you have we already have a big tall mirror there that's arched at the top, very similar to that. But if you have a landing on your stairs without a window there on that long wall, that would be beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Well, that's what I did here. I mean, it's not that big space. And the idea was to make it feel like it was open. The back staircase that goes from my kitchen to the upper level bedrooms it's just kind of closed in. And so I put a mirror in there and wow, it just changed the whole space. Not only can my girls, because they use that staircase primarily, they can, give them this little check before they come down or what have you if they're going out. But as far as bouncing the light around, it changes that area completely. So think about spaces that are small and dark in your house where you could add a mirror. And I guarantee you will change that space exponentially by just adding a mirror of any size.
When you see it, when you place a mirror in a room, it's like, oh, why didn't I do that before?
Yeah.
And seriously, a room has no better friend or no buddy that works better with all the other furniture than a mirror. A mirror, especially if you look, are concentrating, what does the frame look like? Is it interesting? Where do you place it? If you put that in a room, it just like livens your whole room up. Your furniture looks nicer. Your room looks more lit. It looks bigger. A mirror can do wonders. It's like a facelift for a room.
Yes. And don't look at it worrying about yourself having a facelift. Just enjoy the look of the mirror.
Yeah. So, and a lot of people, some designers complain that mirrors are not artwork, which is true. They're not artwork. However, if you have a beautiful frame on your mirror, or it's a unique shape, or it's an antique, it adds an artistic element to the room. So I don't know. If it's a beautifully done mirror, a beautifully done frame, then I think of that as art to the room.
I think it adds a tremendous amount of art to a room. It's just so beautiful. I mean, the frame in itself is can be like a piece of art. If you get something that's, ornate or
unique,
handmade, that you put a mirror in. Absolutely.
Okay. I have a couple of ideas. I'm going to bounce them off you guys. Okay. So not to be confused with that memorable evening Yvonne and Bobby spent in that hotel with the mirrored ceiling, the story that she told.
Do not put one on the ceiling.
Yes.
You'll freak yourself
right.
out.
Don't contact the designer who worked at that hotel. But here's just a little tiny bit of mirror that you could put on a ceiling. And I think it's kind of cool. You know how you can get ceiling medallions for your chandeliers or your hanging pictures?
Yeah.
Okay. So how about those honeycomb shaped mirror little almost like tiles? You could get them at Lowe's and Home Depot and stuff. You can fashion your own chandelier medallion by using maybe a box of those and just go around the escutcheon. Am I saying that right? Of the chandelier. And so then it's going to reflect the light even further.
Oh,
from
interesting.
I think that's actually pretty.
Isn't that pretty?
And that won't scar you for life.
No. And it's just a little bit of mirror.
Don't get too carried away. Don't use
don't
seven
go too
boxes.
far. Only just do
that'll
one
scar
box.
you
Because
for
then
life.
it goes from tasteful to tasteless.
Exactly.
Yeah,
there
you
is
go.
that fine line sometimes.
Yes.
Sometimes
and no, most of the times it's a great big red do not enter line.
Yeah.
okay. And now,
You were making me a little nervous with that whole mirror.
Okay,
No, but you know what? And I think that is
good.
an absolutely gorgeous idea. Yeah, because you don't see enough. There's not enough of it that you can actually see.
And maybe you do it over a
self.
dining room table, so it's not like you're not doing it over your bed, or you're not doing it in a place where people could really see themselves. More like it would just really reflecting the light. And here's another one. Okay, so how about you just a pretty simple mirror and you put it on hinges attached to the wall in front of a recessed shelf? Like I'm picturing.
All right, say this again.
Okay, so say you have a recessed shelf. I know I had a bunch of those in my house that was built in the 1930s. That my former
like
house.
a niche.
Yeah, and they're very charming and stuff. And sometimes it just becomes a catch-all, or if it's in a room like a bathroom or a bedroom, it might be something where you really want to put essentials in there, and you're like, this is a useful shelf, but I don't want to see my bottle of aspirin or what have you. You can attach hinges to your mirror and put it in front of a recessed shelf that goes into the wall. And then you're really creating a cabinet space, and you're also having the mirror.
That's pretty. That's pretty. And what if you have a room to put like a little votive in there? Ooh, it'd be so beautiful and reflect the light.
Yeah.
Here's another idea. Don't disregard if you have I have this small, again, I have a very convex mirror, because you got me thinking about convex and concave, an English mirror. It's maybe 8 inches or 12 inches in diameter. And it's really pretty. And I sort of don't know what to do with it. Right now it's by my front door because I just have a small wall, but it's almost gets lost there. So I'm thinking about maybe collecting some like-minded mirrors and doing a grouping of them on a wall.
Oh, it's going to be her own hall of mirrors.
Yeah.
Well, but wouldn't that be pretty?
Just, I mean, I wouldn't beautiful.
Do a whole big, vast part of the wall.
Yeah, I've seen
but
a wall
I would do
done
maybe
like
just
that.
like an outline of what a large mirror would look like, and just putting all these different mirrors. And I think, or just even empty frames and mirrors. I thought that would be pretty too.
Oh, I love that idea. I like if you have areas where your nightstands are on either side of the bed, and in particular, if that part of the wall is a little differentiated, whether your headboard juts out or something like that. If you put mirrors behind there, it then reflects the light of your little nightstand lamps, and it is so pretty. And you can sort of hang them lower because they can be more, not necessarily in line, but maybe slightly higher than your headboard, but lower than you would have a normal mirror. And I think that is such a pretty way to bounce that evening light around your bedroom.
I do too. That's one of my favorite ways to use a mirror. Have I done that? No. But am I going to do it? I'm thinking
Will I
about
do it this afternoon? Yes.
Well, but I've been thinking about, is that going to be too much on my, in my master bedroom? Cause I'm like dragging my feet, like with all these little extra, like last minute things.
Well, yeah, you're still working through that room. And then I have one more thought about hanging the mirrors. You can hang them just on the wall with the hooks and whatnot that come with it, and so you don't see anything. But you can also do something cool where you can use chain. Like you buy a few feet of chain from the hardware store, and you can attach the chains and then hang it on a hook from the chain. You could do some sort of heavy duty twine or rope. If it's a very fanciful feminine mirror, you could even maybe do it not too heavy. You could do some pretty ribbons, something like that. You could add a tassel to the hook that it's on and have that draped down.
Can I add though, don't actually use this for hanging the mirror because it's probably not going to be sturdy enough, but just use this as a decorative add-on behind the mirror. After you've hung the mirror, then you just kind of add it and it makes it look like it's attached, but don't actually use that to hang.
Anita, I'll do an add-on to your add-on, unless it's a really light mirror, unless it's something very small, you're probably safe. But I agree with you, Anita. Make sure that you're getting the mirror into the studs, and don't hang it on one wire. You can get those little hangers, those little that you screw into the back of your mirror, and then you put
the D hooks.
Yes, and they put in the. I'm sorry, what'd you call them?
D hooks. I mean, you put them on the frame.
Well, you
not
can
on
use
the mirror
D hooks
themselves.
or those sawtooth hooks.
Well, the
as
D
well.
hooks.
And then,
I would recommend the D hooks for something heavy.
Yeah, and then
sometimes
put them
the sawtooths,
into.
they don't. Yeah.
Right. Just make sure they're very secured into the wall. The other thing that I think that we really should not overlook when we're talking about mirrors is mirrored furniture. I know that Kelly has mirrored furniture.
I do.
And I adore the look of it, especially in a bedroom. And especially when things aren't too busy, because if you have lots of busy patterns and things, it might be a little overwhelming. But if you have someplace calm, like a bedroom, I think that's a really nice place to use mirrored furniture.
So fun today. Thanks so much for listening. And remember, we are here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time.